Well, hello there. How's everyone doing? Man, glad to be here. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's a wonderful thing to be here on a Friday evening. Been a long week. Been a tiresome day. I've been doing a lot of domestics today. And boy, am I beat. Whew. So if I look beat, it's because I am. Absolutely. How are you? Just to get that out there, how are you? I hope you are doing great. Man, it's good to be alive. Got some good weather going for October. I am so pleased with that. I was expecting it to be downright cold and ugly by this time of year. And I have had a pleasant surprise. It is absolutely wonderful out there. Got some excellent weather for October. So much. It's just so much to talk about. You know, I often come on here with a plan and everything, and just before coming on, I hear stuff, see stuff, and it sometimes it may change everything about what I want to talk about. But tonight I'm just gonna stick with the game plan. May even make it a short night since it's Friday. You know, depending on how much I get to rambling. You know I get to rambling in a heartbeat. So, pardon me. Anyway, before I get going, I always like to highlight the coonery too. You know I like to do a public service announcement. I like to highlight coonery, and I love to highlight what's going on with the farmers. So tonight we're going to do farmers, and we're going to do coonery. So that's what we're going to do. Unless you have something you'd rather talk about, which is okay with me. How's it going, James? Everything good with you? As a matter of fact, and Friday is a good time to talk about stuff that you might want to talk about, because that's what we do here. I don't have like absolute control over the subject. Good, man. Glad you're doing well. But I do want to get this coonery out there. You can always find one. There's always one going to pop up somewhere. So, right now, without ado, before I get any further into it, look at this bastard here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I seen you on YouTube. I was watching on live, and you were protecting a female. I came down here because of you.
Thank you.
Because I seen you on YouTube. There's a guy watching you, and I seen everyone, and I was like, I told my girl, I was like, nah, fuck that. I gotta go down there. I live out in Beaverton, and I wear this hat every day at work. I work at Safeway, and don't no one say shit. But yeah.
So then, what do you think of what's happening right now?
They obviously don't have a job. How do you guys pay rent?
Hey.
How do you pay rent?
I got my own spot.
I'll give you in the house. How do you pay rent?
Hey, listen, I got a job. Check my bag. Hey, I got a job right here. I work at Taco Bell.
Okay.
I work at Taco Bell. I just got off.
Hey, I respect that. Who else has a job? What do you do? Take off your mask. Let me see. I'm a YouTuber. Okay.
Now, this coon is out there protesting, counter-protesting with, oh, hey, Vanessa, how you doing? Glad you could hang out. This coon is out there counter-protesting the protesters who are protesting the stuff that Trump is putting as doing. And he's out there questioning them about how they pay their rent and do they have a job. What kind of foolishness is that? How do you pay your rent? And he works at Safeway. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Safeway is a grocery store chain. Pains me to see how people, yeah, pains me too, man. Pains me too. Dude, what can you say though? You know, it's like, here's a guy that just don't get it. Here's a guy that does not get the fact that he's no more welcome in their circles than you or me. They would turn on him in a heartbeat. And I bet you when he's around people that he hangs with, the minute he leaves, they got comments about him. Because they're always the last to know. Hey, what's up, Carmen? How are you? They're always the last to know. All the time. So, just pure coonery. I don't, you know, what can you say? What can you say? It is a shame. Also, before I get going, I want to play a clip of our commander-in-chief, not him, but an audio. You got to hear this, you know, because it's better when you're not looking at him. If you listen to this and you're not looking at him, you can tell how crazy it is. It sounds even crazier when you're not looking at him. And I just had to grab this because there's people that think this guy has it all together. Listen to this. Just close your eyes. Don't even watch it. Just close your eyes and listen to this.
So it was just brought to my attention in an urgent briefing that the Super Bowl, which is, of course, a very sacred tradition in our country, probably the most watched thing on TV, except for when I speak, of course. But I was just informed that in one of the most offensive and radical left and anti-Christian, also, don't forget that, moments in our country, the halftime show of our next Super Bowl will be done by Bad, I can't believe I'm saying this, Bad Bunny, okay? Now, what I've been told, we have intel briefings. This is a person from the Mexican city of Puerto Rico, okay? And already I have a problem with that, okay? It's the American Super Bowl where we crown a world champion. And to have somebody from the Mexican province or town or whatever of Puerto Rico, which has produced some, you know, there's been some good things from Puerto Rico. We're friends. We're sort of allies, I think, with Puerto Rico. But this is going too far. This is sort of a desecration of our sacred traditions. And not to mention, we already have a bunny in America, and he's called the Easter Bunny. And the Easter Bunny is a good bunny, okay? Not a bad bunny. He's actually, some people even think he might be the greatest bunny. They call him a goat bunny, which sounds like a scientist put together like a rabbit and a goat in terms of like the things they're doing with science. When they put these species together, they make all sorts of crazy things we're trying to put down. We're trying to stop this kind of horrible science, but it's goat meaning greatest of, the goat. in terms of bunnies is the Easter bunny, because he is a pro-Christian bunny. He's probably the most Christian. He might be the most religious of all the animals, to be honest. But he also has fun. He brings chocolate. So he's a good bunny in terms of Christian, also a good bunny in terms of chocolate, okay? And now all of a sudden, on a Super Bowl Sunday, a day of American pride and Christian stuff, because it's a Sunday, you are doing a bad bunny from Puerto Rico, Mexico. So I don't think the radical left could do anything more horrible, more woke, more destructive to our judo Christian, like all our martial arts, the judo Christian martial arts. There's never been anything more disgraceful. So we say no to Bad Bunny. Thank you.
What's up, Charles? You know what? If you take everything that you hear this man say, I watched, again, like I was saying the other day, I watched the speech that he did with the soldiers. It's exhausting to watch this guy, to watch him speak, to listen to anything he says. It is exhausting. And every time you watch him or listen to him in any way, the question that comes to mind is, what the hell are you talking about? Just like James just said, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, my gosh. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. The amount of stupidity per sentence. The babblings of a madman. Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, Lisa, what's happening? Glad you can hang out. Yeah. Just a madman. An absolute madman. It's incredible. Incredible. Just wanted to get that out there. Just to remind us of where we are today with the coonery and this crazy person that they have literally put in the highest office. And so it's week day 3 of the shutdown. Day 3 of the shutdown. And understand something. Remember, again, I'm getting ready to highlight the farmers now. I'm going to turn to the farmers. The farmers are suffering just a slow death of 1,000 cuts right now, because they need help on a scale that you would not believe. They need help on a scale that is they need help badly. And guess what? The government shut down. You got to fight the weather. You got to fight prices. You got to fight markets. And then the government shuts down on you. But they brought it on themselves. They brought it on themselves with their vote. I wish I could get them all in a room and ask them how they feel about their vote. How do they feel about the way they voted? You voted for a guy that killed your markets. They're blaming the Democrats. Can't blame the Democrats. You can't blame the Democrats because the Democrats aren't in charge. You see, that's the counter argument. You can't blame the people that are not in charge. How can they blame the Democrats? The Democrats have no power to do anything. The Republicans have the House. They have the Senate. They have the presidency. They have the Supreme Court. How can you blame the Democrats? Can't blame them. Let's listen to a couple of clips on how the farmers, what's going on with them. And on top of it, on top of them hurting, I'm going to say this again. The Trump administration gave Argentina $20 billion of taxpayer money. $20 billion of taxpayer money to the Argentine government because they have a version of Trump and their economy is in the tank, and he's trying to make sure the Argentine version of him is successful. Let's check it out.
Because of tariffs, Illinois farmers haven't been able to sell soybeans to their biggest customer.
WMED's Cameron Main reports on how the trade war with China could be forcing more farmers to go bankrupt. Cameron.
Thomas and Rebecca, China is by far the biggest buyer of Illinois soybeans. But the trade war between the Asian nation and the United States has put a stop on that as China looks south for its produce.
There is yet to be one purchase of soybeans from the entire United States by China.
Illinois soybean farmers are taking a huge hit from tariffs. Those farmers greatly benefit from trade with China. According to the director of the Illinois Department of Agriculture, last year China bought $1.4 billion worth of soybeans from Illinois.
If we took all other countries that bought soybeans in the world and put them up against China, China is still a larger soybean market than the rest of the countries.
The Asian superpower has looked to South American countries like Brazil and Argentina to buy its soybeans. With Argentina recently receiving a $20 billion loan by the U.S. government, they just cut their soybean prices to give a better deal to China. A Chinese farmer was at the Illinois Grain Tour in Bloomington. He says he prefers American beans since they can last longer in storage.
He hopes that the relationship between America and China becomes better in the future, and so that he is able to buy more and the farmers are able to collaborate more in international trade.
Costello says the industry is still trying to come back from the tariffs from the last Trump administration.
We went from 62% of U.S. soybeans being bought by China in 2017. In 2018, it went to 18%, from 62% down to 18%. 2023, we were at 55% of U.S. soybeans being bought by China. It took 8 years, and we still weren't back to even from the original 2017 number of 62%.
Now, did you hear that? Did you hear that? They still not back to where they were during the first Trump administration. And they voted for him again. They voted for him again. 8 years, it took them 8 years to get almost back. And they voted for him again. Let's listen on.
Tariffs have impacted farmers outside of just selling their crops, including an increased price on pesticides and farm machinery. Costello also says they need a deal with China, or more farmers could go bankrupt.
The Trump administration admits farmers are not doing well under President Trump's tariffs, most especially soybean farmers. The, quote, collateral damage, as Politico puts it, in the president's trade war with China. Since May, China has not purchased a single U.S. soybean, not a one, according to the American Soybean Association, turning instead to Brazil and Argentina. That last country there, one that the Trump administration decided to send a $25 million aid package, a bailout that could be backfiring, according to Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. You just heard what she says to reporters in public. Well, here's what she says in private to other officials. She sent a text message to the Treasury Secretary last week while he was at the UN. Here is a picture of it. The message, photographed by the AP, showed Rollins worrying to Bessent, saying, quote, "We bailed out Argentina yesterday, and in return, the Argentines removed their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price, and sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China," adding, "This gives China more leverage on us." Joining us now, Arkansas soybean farmer Scott Brown. Scott, good to have you back. Like to see you on that combine.
Thanks for having me, Katie.
All right, so I thought it was interesting seeing what Brooke Rollins said to reporters there at the White House and the way that she spoke to the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. Why might she be so worried about the soybean market?
Well, like we talked earlier, we went from 12 billion to zero. And then, you know, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board, while I'm getting 50 cents under the November board. So that makes the Argentinian soybeans about $12.42 a bushel. I think that's the real figure they gave. So all my premium went.
Scott, I just lost you there at the end. You said your premiums go?
They all went to Argentina.
Yeah. All right. She says that don't worry. It's a time of uncertainty, Brooke Rollins does. Hang on. Relief is just around the corner. What would that relief be? Do you see it coming?
I don't know. I mean, how do you give me relief through the CCC with the government shutdown? We were going to plant canola this month. It's one of the few things we've found. It's moved into Arkansas. They're going to make renewable jet fuel and renewable diesel of it. We've never raised any. I had to get a loan from FSA to do it because it's an uninsurable crop through the federal crop insurance. But they would let me do it through the NAP insurance. Well, I can't even get the loan for it because there's nobody at the FSA office. There's nobody at the NRCS office. We shut the government down. They all went home.
I'm laughing because it sounds ridiculous. What do you do then? What do you do? You're a soybean farmer. Last time I talked to you, you said you believe you're going to break even. Are you still on track to break even?
I don't know. I've lost 10% of market share since we talked last. I've lost another $12 an acre for the difference in the market when we talked last to where I'm at today. The
That was like a month ago.
Every day. Yeah. Lost another $12 an acre since then on 500 acres.
How are your other farmers, for your friends, feeling? I know a lot of them are Trump supporters. Do they still feel good?
Everybody's pretty nervous. Everybody's pretty scared. There's some of the older guys that, you know, farm out of their pocket. They're like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not giving back 30 years worth of work. Everybody's scared to death. I got friends that are bankers that, you know, will tell you the bank examiners is already telling them, look, you're going to have to deal with these guys because their equipment's not going to be worth as much. Their land's not going to be worth as much. I mean, this is exactly like the movie from the 80s with Sam Shepard and Jessica Lange Country. That's what's going to go down. They're going to sell people out.
Jeez. All right.
Well, now, I don't think that particular farmer there is a Trump supporter. He seems to understand where the problem is. Again, they voted for this guy after he almost ruined them during his first administration. And now we're shut down. Now, you would think the prices in the grocery stores would be coming down right about now, huh? Anybody seen grocery prices going down? You would think the price of something, would be going down if the farmers are going to have to sell cheap. I haven't seen anything going down myself. Oh, that's right. The tariffs are still on. I forgot about that. The tariffs are still on. Most of these farmers are millionaires. Yes, they are. Yeah, they are. That's why I'm not crying. That's the reason I am not crying, Charles. I'm playing the smallest fiddle in the world. Yeah, the prices of everything going up because the tariffs are still there. The tariffs are still on, even though I believe a judge has already ruled that the tariffs are illegal, but they're still on. What's up with that? And the government is shut down. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing that the government is shut down. It's good. We only got like a few days into it, but I want to see what's going on a month from now. I want to see how they crying a month from now, because it is really starting to sink in. The MAGA supporters out there, it's starting to creep in. Now, some of them going to try and blame Democrats for what's happening to them. But it's going to sink in. And when it do, like I said, I think this is going to be the downfall of this administration. Because it's got to sink in. There's no way, after about a month or two of this, that they're going to be able to blame the Democrats. They blame the Democrats for everything. Well, of course. Yeah, you can blame the Democrats, on the surface. Trust me. They'll go out and scream Democrat this and Democrat that, but they'll go home. They'll go home and know for real what's going on. They'll be discussing it amongst themselves. They won't let you or me see that they understand what's going on. They'll still yell bad stuff about the Democrats. They'll do that. But trust me, when they go home and talk to the wife and the kids, they'll be telling the truth to each other. See, they'll tell the truth to each other. They'll say, hey, he said he was going to do this. He said the prices was going to go down. The prices ain't going down. He said he was going to be bringing jobs, but they firing people. Yeah, they are going to be firing people. A man by the name of Russell Vogt, I don't know if you are familiar with Russell Vogt. Russell Vogt is one of the authors of Project 2025. He is one of the main characters in Project 2025. And Russell Vogt, his whole intention this whole time was to fire people. He wants to fire people, and now he's in the position to do just that. And he is happy as a lark. He and Trump are sitting there rubbing elbows as we speak about how many people they're going to be able to fire. If you recall, Trump has literally been saying, with the shutdown, we're going to get to fire people. We're going to have the ability to fire people. We'll be able to fire people. Now, when you use words like we're going to get to, we'll be able to, we've been wanting to do this. So the blame is going to find its way home. Okay? They can blame the Democrats on the surface, but it's going to find its way home. Trust me. Trust me on that one. Mike Johnson told him today not to come back next week. Just chill at the crib. We're not gonna vote on nothing next week. Is that right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's cool. You know why? There's different agencies. Different agencies run out of money at a different rate. So, there's agencies that have not run out of money yet. They've got days. They've got weeks. So, if you're gonna take a week off, he told them don't come back next week at all, huh? Now, see, you remember a while back, I told you my mom used to call certain people a tough titty. My mom used to say, she said, you see that fool right there? That fool right there, tough titty. He a tough titty. It's gonna take him a little bit to learn. Apparently that's what Mike Johnson is. You know what a tough titty is. You know, one of them nipples a baby been chewing on for about 18 months. Anyway, he gonna tell him not to come back. Well, there's gonna be agencies running out of money next week. You know, there's certain agencies that shut down this week, like they pulled people from museums and national parks. But there's gonna be agencies running out of money by next week. And that's when the carnage is going to really begin, as the agencies run out of money. You know, and this one, there's one thing that I can't wait. If they start firing people, because they used to furlough people. He's talking about firing people now. See, that's permanent. You fired in the midst of a time when they were trying to hire people that they already fired, that they shouldn't have fired. This is gonna hit the fan big time. This may be the thing. This may be the thing that we needed. I think it is. I think this is exactly what we needed. And I hope and pray that Chuck Schumer and Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, I hope they stand fast. I hope they chill at the crib too. Yeah, go chill at the crib. I heard Mike Johnson say people are asking him why won't he negotiate with the Democrats. And he said he doesn't have anything to negotiate with them for. He doesn't have anything to negotiate. All right, then. Now, just so we're clear. The Democrats only asked for one thing. You and I might have asked for a host of other stuff. I can think of a ton of things I would have asked for if they needed my vote on something. But the Democrats only asked for one thing. Or you could divide it into two. They both revolve around health care. It's just health care. That's all they ask. Hey, restore the premiums that are about to expire under the ACA. Under the Affordable Care Act, the funding for premiums to make the health care affordable to individuals out here in the world is expiring at the end of the year. next month, November, when open enrollment starts, there's going to be sticker shock because there has been no renewal of that funding. And they did not intend to renew that funding. And the Democrats are simply asking, hey, restore the funding for the premium so people can afford the health care. And yeah, that's what he's saying. Don't care. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Now, the second part to that, which is still on healthcare, they asked, hey, let's rescind the Medicaid stuff in the big, beautiful bill where you're taking Medicaid from everybody. Let's rescind that part, and that will help, again, people get health care. Nothing about health care. Nothing but health care. That's the only thing that they care about. That's the only thing they're trying to negotiate. And they won't do it. I don't know why these fools are so hell-bent on taking the health care from people. They simply do not want people to be able to go to the hospital or doctor. They've come up with, and immediately after the meeting the other day, they walked right out in front of the cameras and started screaming that all the Democrats want to do is give health care to illegal aliens. No. No Democrat said anything about giving health care to the illegal aliens. Not at all. Reduction in population. Reduction in population. I never thought of that. You know, there may be, that might be part of it. Let's expand on that. Reduction in population, reduction in poor population. You might be on to something. Brother, you might be on to something. Maybe reduction in the poor population. But let me ask you this. If they reduce the poor population and they've gotten rid of the immigrants that's working on the farms, who gonna work the farms? Somebody tell me who gonna work the farms. If you're getting rid of the population, you might be absolutely right. If they die off because they can't get health care, they can't work, And I once talked to a Republican, a lawyer, and I asked him, we had a conversation about people on welfare. And I said, if you take the welfare away from people, what's going to happen to them? I said, wouldn't they just die in the streets? And his reply to me was, yeah, a good number of them. And that's when I realized, I'm like, whoa. Oh, you've already made up your mind that that's okay. This is like, oh, you already thought of that. I'm just not coming to this idea. It's a bygone conclusion for you. So this could be part of it. I tell you one thing. The Republicans own this shutdown. They own it. This is all on them because they're lying through their teeth about wanting to give, the Democrats wanting to give health care to illegals. It's all a lie. Hey, let's check this clip out.
Disagreements about tax policy, but you don't shut that government down. We have disagreements about health care policy, but you don't shut the government down. You don't use your policy disagreements as leverage to not pay our troops, to not have essential services of government actually function. You don't say the fact that you disagree about a particular tax provision is an excuse for shutting down the people's government and all the essential services that come along with it.
So I'm easily confused, as everybody knows.
Well, no, it's...
But I'm confused. I mean... He was the guy who said that Donald Trump might be America's Hitler, and then he changed. He's a guy that said God expects more from us than to vote for Donald Trump. JD did. And then he changed. And Mika, didn't he say, like, not so long ago that this is exactly when you use your leverage to try to get the other party to change?
Yeah, man. Why shouldn't we be trying to force this government shutdown fight to get something out of it that's good for the American people? Like, why have a government if it's not a functioning government?
What a shock. What a shock.
A year ago.
That's just it.
Right.
Oh, I thought that might be a decade ago, 30 years ago.
That was like a young JD. Oh, wait, he is pretty young.
You know, you never know what's going to happen here. You really don't. Donald Trump can decide what he wants to decide. I will say, actually, going through a government shutdown, everybody on the floor would all gather. Well, people will understand that Bill Clinton did, and would sit there. And finally, it occurred to me, I go, dude, nobody's paying attention to this. When the government shut down, they're going to blame Republicans. They always blame. And sure enough, the government was shut down. Bill Clinton broke us politically, got reelected. It worked in his favor. When there was a shutdown, I guess, 2011? Same thing happened. They didn't blame Barack Obama, even though Republicans were like, I'm going to blame Barack Obama. They never did. They don't do that. People, working, in middle America aren't going, well, they passed a clean CR. It's clean. So that's the problem is Republicans own the White House. Republicans own the Senate. Republicans own the House.
They have a lot of power.
Republicans own the Supreme Court. People in middle America, when they see a government shutdown, they go, wait a sec, we put Republicans in charge of everything, and they can't even run a government. This is not wish casting. This is 30 years of experience. Republicans always get blamed for government shutdowns, especially when you have the monopoly of power in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. They own it. They own it. Now, they can't blame anybody. They own it all. They're running the whole show. I used to talk to people when I was in the mill. And guys would be complaining back, during Trump's first go-round. Guys would be complaining. I'm like, what are you complaining? What are you blaming Democrats for? You got everything. They had it all then. The first Trump administration, I used to sit there and listen to him complain. And I say, hey, you elected a group of people who are so crazy that they can't get along enough to run the government. They have everything, and they can't get along enough to run it. Same situation now. They have complete control of the whole government, and we're shut down. So you can't blame the Democrats. Can't blame them. You mad that the Democrats want to fight for health care for people to be able to afford it? Okay. Be mad. Be mad. It's cool with me. I say, stick it out. I say, go do like Mike Johnson said. Go home, relax, don't even come back next week. You know, that is incredible. If he told them people don't come back next week, really? Cool. I say drag it out for months. Let it hurt. Let it hurt. I say do it. Cool with me. Any other opinions? Any other opinion? Anybody thinking something different than me? Because, I mean, you know, my opinion is stay out. Let it stay shut down. Let the whole system collapse. Let it collapse. Let it collapse on top of itself. It's going to be pain. It's going to be painful as hell for a lot of people. Probably me, probably you. But this has to happen. You know, the government shut down. And you know what I looked at today? I looked at the stock market today. And the stock market was trending up. Talk about completely, and the fact that they will not release the job numbers, the official job numbers. Now, ADT, a company that crunches their own job numbers, released their data, and they say we lost 32,000 jobs. They say we lost 32,000 jobs. The government job numbers, they're not going to release them. Now the numbers calculated, but they're not going to release the number. They say, no, since we shut down, we're not releasing the numbers. Guess why? Guess why? Democrats have to hold the line and not blink. Right. Absolutely. So they're not releasing the job numbers. And the stock market's still trending up. I've been following the stock market a long time. I've never seen the stock market completely divorced from what's actually happening in the country. I mean, it's divorced. It's like, it's crazy. I agree with you totally, brother. Shut it down. Keep it down. Let it collapse. They said they want to get rid of those, a lot of those agencies. Get rid of them. Go ahead, get rid of those agencies. Get rid of all of those people. A lot of them people was the ones voted for you. Let them people go home and tell the stories about how Trump and them got rid of us just because they didn't want to give health care. Okay. Now again, the Fox and the Democrats, and the Republicans, has been out there screaming, welcome to the Twilight Zone, huh? Yeah, it is a Twilight Zone. Fox and them been out there screaming. J.D. Vance, Mike Johnson, they all, like I said, they've been out there screaming about all they want to do is give health care to the illegal immigrants. How ridiculous is that? That's absolutely ridiculous. You know, we are absolutely in the Twilight Zone. We absolutely in the Twilight Zone. So and those people that still listen to Fox News and the Republicans and the crap that they out there saying, I only wish I seen Democrats out there screaming as loud as them. But there are some people out there trying to get the message out. There are some folks here. I'm gonna play a clip of this one gentleman. I love his clips because his clips are to the point, and he makes his point quite well. He uses cups. I love his clips. I'm gonna play one right quick.
America, they're lying to you, and the proof is in that one yellow cup. That's right, Fox. Propaganda, Mike Johnson, the entire right-wing propaganda machine shut down the government over this one plastic cup. Not a program, not a national crisis, a cup. Because when you can't lead, you distract. This entire pyramid right here on the bottom is the entire Medicaid budget. And the yellow cup at the bottom is the only time, potentially, that an undocumented immigrant may get health care or care. And it's in an emergency. It's the mathematical equivalent of 0.004 of the budget. But Mike Johnson will make you think like it's the end of civilization. And that is not governing, that is gaslighting. Propaganda 101, you take a teaspoon of truth and you turn it into a tidal wave of fear. Straight out of the playbook of Karl Rove, but without the subtlety. And here's the kicker. We can never eliminate that yellow cup, ever. We could keep the government shut down forever. It's not a liberal giveaway giving undocumented immigrants health care. If someone's bleeding out in the ER, you treat them, period. It's not policy, it's humanity. And apparently, compassion doesn't play well over at Fox because they want you to think that they're giving free health care to undocumented immigrants. But now let's take a look at the top pyramid. That shows you the $100 billion paid in by undocumented immigrants annually. Props up Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and so on. Benefits that they will never use because they don't qualify for. It's the entire state of Ohio, what they pay into the system. Can you imagine telling everyone in Ohio, sorry, you're not invited to the party? Even if I took away this little yellow cup and what it cost, those orange cups, I still have $97 billion of net positive money coming into the U.S. Treasury. So this is not a budget problem. We're making more money. It's not a problem with the law. They shut down the government to distract you. They shut the government down over this because not because they care about spending, but because they need you looking at that cup. They don't want you looking at the scoreboard. They don't want you talking about the Epstein files, sluggish job growth, shrinking GDP, and the widening trade deficit that the tariffs were supposed to fix, but it went in the opposite direction. This is not budgeting. It's a magic trick of politics. Don't look over here. Look over here. Mike Johnson and his propaganda friends over at Fox are basically saying, hey, if I can scare you with this yellow cup, maybe you won't notice that I don't have any solutions or a plan. The next time that you see this on Fox, recognize that this is propaganda. We cannot keep falling for this over and over again, America. The proof is in the pudding. Cups talk, bullshit walks. I hope you learned something. I'm always rooting for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all they want to do is have you look over there. And you know Trump is happy with the shutdown because like he said, we're not talking about the Epstein files. You know, we're not talking about the Epstein files. Hey, Ronnie, how you doing? You know, and speaking of the Epstein files, Howard Lutnick, I'm sure some of you heard about what old Howard Lutnick did. He literally, now, Howard Lutnick is the Commerce Secretary. Somebody tell me where he's been. Because he must have went up on one of those missions to the space station or something. Because he's on a podcast after the FBI guy, Patel, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, Trump, after all of these people have said the FBI don't have any files, there's no videos, nothing. Howard Lutnick goes on a podcast and says Epstein had plenty of videos and he's been blackmailing all kinds of people, and there's tons of people on the videos. I went to his house. He had a massage table in the middle of the room. And I'm like, Did somebody forget to give this guy the script? Where's he been that he hasn't heard all of his people trying to say there's nothing to see here? And he's out there. He's out there spilling the beans like 40 going north. And as it turns out, he used to be Epstein's next door neighbor. He used to live right next door to him. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, he was, absolutely. Yeah, he was a neighbor. That is crazy. So guess what? Who we gonna believe? I believe Howard Lutnick. I'm gonna start calling him Howard Lugnut. Because after all of this, he comes out and says, oh no, everybody else on my team is lying. There's plenty of stuff to see. Yeah, it's all sorts of stuff to see. You gotta be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, hopefully, yeah, hey, we all see what our neighbors are doing, right? We all see hey, open his mouth and the truth came out, like James said. Everybody see what their neighbor doing. You know, and now they're trying to get him in front of Congress. Now the Oversight Committee is trying to get him, you know. And the White House, from what I understand, the White House is livid. I'm just wondering where he's been. And I think I got an answer. I think I got an answer as to how he could make this blunder at this point in the game. Tell me if this don't sound right. Maybe you got a better reason for this. But Howard Lugnut is a billionaire. Okay? He's a billionaire. And this entire time, I think he hasn't been paying any of it any attention. I think he hasn't been paying any of it any attention. I think he's been running around, having fun, living his best life. I think he hasn't been listening to any of what's been said. And he went on this podcast, and this woman asked him a question. And he just answered, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And didn't realize all of this other stuff that's been said up to this point. He's been so disconnected from what's been going on. You know, he's a billionaire and he's in the Trump administration and he's been hanging out and enjoying life and eating at the best restaurants in D.C. on our tab. He's been where Bongino is. Hey man, where is Bongino? I have not seen this dude. You know, if he's been where Bongino is, apparently you can come back. Bongino don't seem to be on the comeback. Where is Bongino? But anyway, this guy's just been out of touch. He just hasn't been listening. I'm thinking this guy's just been out of touch. He didn't get the memo. Hey, Ixnay on the Epstein A. You know? It's crazy. So on one hand, you got him telling the truth, just spilling all the beans about Epstein. And on the other hand, all the other Republicans are out there. Now, I hope I hope Lucknick don't come out, 2 months from now and say, the Democrats just wanted to get health care for the people. The Democrats wasn't trying to give illegal immigrants, Trump and them might kill his ass if he do that. Yeah, I got on TV and just spilled the beans. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? So we'll see. We'll see how long he hangs around. He might get dismissed here pretty soon. Now he might end up wherever Bongino is. So, but they all screaming that the Democrats want to give illegal immigrants health care. The only way, first of all, health care to anybody, you can't get on Medicaid or anything without a Social Security number. So that's the end of that right there. So, and the only time illegal immigrants got any kind of health care was probably during the emergency room visit. Now, in the big, beautiful bill, they done stripped out money for a lot of hospitals. So these hospitals going to be closing. And that's the money that the Democrats are trying to get them to put in. Put the money back in so the hospitals don't close. Medicaid pays hospitals at 2 levels. There's a low level and a high level. The high level is what keeps them open. Okay? The high level, that level, you can give them, you can pay them a low level, but those that don't have great backing, a great bottom line, they're going to go out of business. The last thing I would want is my hospital in my neighborhood to go out of business. If I got an emergency going on, I don't want to have to go 50 miles to a hospital. You may not make it. That's what the Democrats are fighting for. I hope they hold out. Please let them hold out. Let the system collapse. And the people who are running the system can take the blame. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all again, as usual. It's been good. Hey, this is supposed to be a great weekend. Why don't y'all go out and have a great weekend? Stay safe. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open because, hey, ICE is out there running around and they picking people with whatever color skin you got. They just looking if you look like you're Puerto Rican or something. They subject to grab you up off the street. Pay attention. Okay? Also, these fools that's pissed off about Charlie Kirk. Okay? Pay attention. These fools that's pissed off about him are out there roaming around too. Pay attention. Watch your back. Keep your head on the swivel. And keep yourself safe. All right? Okay, on that note, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all again Monday. It's going to be a good weekend. Enjoy. Take it easy.